My name is Giordana Arcesilai. I'm a lighting designer with a professional studio based in Bologna, in Italy. I have a degree in architecture. I like to define myself as born in the light because as a little girl I often attended my father's lighting fittings showroom in downtown Bologna. In fact, in 1950s, my family business was one of the first in Italy to launch modern lines, breaking with tradition. And these are special memories that make up my personal story in lighting design, my personal culture of design, and have been a positive influence on the approach to my work with clients to select. I love to browse the catalogs of the best Italian lighting companies that change the history of design. I seek to understand the design of each lamp, the reason for the shapes, how light is conducted and reflected inside the luminaires. I studied architecture in Venice, and after graduation I worked with some architect studios for a couple of years. Then I decided to come back to lighting with my father. In these years, the first lighting calculation programs were launched and I worked with these, but my main tasks involved discovering new companies and products and to collaborate with architects on projects. And since 2000, I have been freelance in the lighting field, at first collaborating with an electrical engineer. Then in 2007 I founded my own studio. So my business engages in many aspects of light, including lighting design and product design, training and companies consultation. Mainly in the outdoor field, both architectural and garden landscape lighting, for the following reasons. I'm firstly an architect who loves her country, of course, and all the beauties so often neglected. In the year 2000, in Italy, a group of amateur astronomers started a battle against the abuses of public lighting that did not respect the starry sky. Light pollution was everywhere, of course we know this is a problem. I contacted the astronomer group on behalf even of my association APIL, and a dialogue was born to protect architecture and green space from a lighting point of view. I found it unbelievable that decades of progress in modern lighting technique culture were often prevented by rigid laws and prohibitions. Why should be forced to manage landscape and architecture lighting in the same way we plan street lighting, for example? Surely the new rigid cutoff optics have distorted the perception of architecture in all towns. And now I am a consultant of the Environment Office of my region to address these issues. At the end of 2013, I began an important collaboration with landscape architect Simona Ventura. We met at university in a project to integrate green areas with light harmoniously and without waste. This project, called Garden Meets Light, better known with the Italian name Il Giardino Incontra la Luce, comes from our belief in the importance of nature for well-being, with both the poetic and scenographic use of light. We shared our work widely through workshops, garden and park planning, and research and the design of new lighting fittings, e-books. We even collaborate with biologists, for example, to better understand the correct lighting and wavelength for plants to thrive indoors. And recently we applied the approach to companies' entrances in workplaces. So Good access and proper lighting can better represent a company to welcome visitors both during the day under the sunshine and the night under the moon. Okay. Another focus of my work is private homes. I come from that field, and I like to meet the clients to learn about his habits, his lifestyle, his tastes. Lighting is an opportunity to create new incitements, habits and comfort. And I like product design. I've designed lighting fixtures, so far only outdoor lighting fixture, but I'm looking forward to expand into the indoor sector, of course. And so I can introduce you Flambeau, the youngest. I was asked by Antonangeli, the producer, to design a battery lamp for restaurant tables. And I made a long research to find this lace design, many nights. And the finishes brass can be brass or super mirrored steel with a special manufacturing. You can hang it to a tree, a plant, a hook. It's not only a standing lamp, it's rechargeable. It's a rechargeable life. It's 12 hours of autonomy with rechargeable batteries inside. So I want to say that it's much better at night, of course, when you switch it on, and it's poetic. It's when it's all dark around, of course. And another one is Pollicino. Pollicino is this one, and was born to be used as step sign and as directional lamp to emphasize trees, sculptures, architectures. And I like Miami too, with its iconic lampshade. I enjoy teaching other professionals in a professional setting, and also at design schools and university like Accademia di Brera, IED in Florence. I like fostering my students a real interest in light themes, of course, to expose them to the different approaches in the different fields. And so I create courses at different levels, from a half-day meeting to my 50-60 hours courses that includes even the lighting calculation program Dialog Sivo. But I want to transmit that light is a language, not only a question of numbers and rules. If a project only complies with standards, it's not necessarily a good project. And during one of my courses, I gained a particular satisfaction when a student, Alice Balboni, a young electrical engineer, was particularly impressed by my lectures. She actually said they had literally lighted her up, and her soul too. And after she attended the 2 years lighting master course in Copenhagen, and now she sometimes collaborates with me. The Comacchio Old Towns Canals New Lighting is my favorite project, maybe, because it was appreciated from the beginning and approved by the authority responsible for monuments. The relationship with the government agency can sometimes be a real obstacle in Italy. And in this romantic city, a small Venice, I used warm lighting grazing the facades. The light before was cold and melancholic, and the luminaires were hung over the canal. I dared to use blue light in the intersections between the main path and the minor ones, and over the ancient boat permanently anchored in the canal. So colored light here has a role in telling a story, to create a scenographic and magical contest. And in fact, after this experience, I became in a certain way the Lady of Waters, and have been commissioned for other projects, for example, San Rufilo's Lewis. Maybe to start, as an independent lighting designer, thanks to my father who encouraged me in this choice. In fact, as a quality seller, he understood the importance to become a quality consultant, intellectually free and not connected to the sale. And this direction was surely helped by my architectural culture. Firstly, all my experiences and my history. But it's essential to observe natural light and its strength, force and phenomena, but even the artificial installation everywhere and every day should inspire, if done well, of course. If you linger in a place, it's often as a result of the light in that place, due to a sort of equilibrium and sometimes even stimulus, and this last one comes from nature. I hate when an installation is too much just because the lighting designer tries only to be trendy, or better, because there is no lighting designer. The LED strips used everywhere today are often cheeky and sometimes too bright, not elegant, and so directed to your eyes, even in night outdoor installations. And such lighting forgets the value of having a luminance contrast. When seeing this installation, I am reminded of what I want to avoid in my projects. I like to use these lines often in an indirect way, with more tact, for example, simulating natural light coming inside. I liked immediately this project. Women have a special sensitivity. They pay attention to details, so that let's use this quality in a positive and constructive way. To the young girls who want to get into lighting field, what can I say? I say that if you have got a passion, go on with it. But there is a long way to go in Italy to recognize this job. I often have to justify my presence and importance to people or possible new clients as an independent consultant. And now I'm talking about the difference between a pharmacist and a doctor and how they can assist you in different ways. Do you need general medicines or someone who takes care of you? Do you want to buy generic luminaires or to be guided by a lighting consultant for a better choice? A good lighting project must find a balance between integrated and decorative light. The challenge is not to exceed in effect, but to create places with positive energy. We were pioneers, I mean my generation. When I asked for a thesis in lighting design for my graduation in architecture in Venice, the professors looked at me in a strange way. Artificial lighting was connected only to technical physics and not to architecture, not to light as a language and a fundamental for well-being. So for me, every time I begin a new project in lighting design, and above all when I switch it on, it's an emotion.